Tonight, I would like everyone watching this video to guess how many states half of the U.S. population lives in. 15? Is it 20? For those of you who guess 9 states, you are correct. You get a prize at the end of the speech. The prize is that you get to listen to the speech, so don't expect anything too great for that prize. But I'm a resident of California, the largest populated state in the United States, and I feel that our state is underrepresented in the federal government, and that there's also other populated states like New York and Florida and Texas that subsets of their population are not getting the proper representation that they should deserve. And I think that's most clearly shown in the United States Senate, in the Electoral College, the way we choose our president, and the process that we use to amend our Constitution and make structural changes to our government. The Senate is one of the most powerful governing bodies in our country, and as we all know, there's two senators for each state, regardless of population, regardless of other factors. If you're a state, you get 2 senators, which leaves California getting the same representation as much lower populated states like Wyoming, North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana. Sorry to pick on the Midwest, but not a lot of people live there. More people live in the coastal cities, but they get the same representation in the Senate. And right now, with over 50% of the population living in 9 of the states, that means that they only get 18% representation in the Senate, which is very small for the amount of population that lives there. And it's estimated it's going to get worse by 2040. 70% of the United States population is going to live in 16 of the states. So that is going to be a huge disparity, because you're going to have 70% of the population being represented by 32% of the Senate. Which that is anti-democratic as far as I'm concerned. And I think if we address these issues, things like Supreme Court Justice confirmation hearings will completely change. I think the previous 3 Supreme Court confirmation hearings would have been a lot different if there was better representation of the more populated states in the Senate. I also would have been like to have seen how the impeachment trial of President Trump would have gone. If the Senate had more representation, because it pretty much went to the Senate. There was somewhat of a trial. I don't even think they called any witnesses. I'll have to check that before the final draft. But I don't even think there was any witnesses called to the stand in a trial. So, the Senate is not accurately representing large swaths of the American population. Now we also have the Electoral College that I feel disadvantages the highly populated states. The last 2 Republican presidents both lost the popular vote, but won the Electoral College, which is allowing a minority of the country to elect the leader of the country, which doesn't seem conducive to democracy, at least to me. And then when you look at situations like in 2020, California had over 10.3 million votes for Joe Biden, which was a 1.6 million increase from Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton got 8.7 million votes in 2016. So you had 1.6 million votes that contributed no more to the equation of who became president. And that's just such a large volume of citizens vote to essentially almost not really matter, or not really affect the scoreboard at all, the scoreboard of democracy. Now, and then the kind of the overall catch that really makes it a conundrum is that the Constitution cannot be amended unless 3/4 of the states agree to that, or 3/4 of the senators have to ratify a new amendment, which is a bar that is just going to be impossible to meet. There's just no way that all these small states are going to give up that much power willingly. There's going to have to be massive structural change to allow for that, but it's just not likely. Now, it's been theorized that California could split into 5, 6 states, Texas into 4 or 5, Florida into 3 states, New York into 3 or 4 states, which is, one idea, but where does that stop? Do we end up with 40 Alabamas? So we have to be very careful when we make huge foundational changes. But we can't ignore the fact that such a high percentage of the population is getting represented getting very little representation in important bodies like the Senate, the process of the Electoral College, and amending the Constitution. Now, we should all be mindful of what they call majority tyranny, where the minority of the population, gets trampled upon by the majority. But at the same time, the majority can't allow itself to be taken advantage of. They must fight for their own power. I am a supporter of the more populated states taking back some power that they've given up maybe not that they gave up, but that was designed into the system that gave states that don't represent as many people more representation in the federal government.